Dear students, this is my first video lecture on chapter number 3, Definitions under Income Tax Act, in subject Tax Procedure and Practice, paper 1 for class first year BCom, semester 1, Veer Narmad South Gujarat University. In this particular lecture, we will discuss few definitions as per Income Tax Act 1961. First term, income, defined under section 2 subsection 24 of the Income Tax Act 1961. Income Tax Act has given a very wide and inclusive definition of the term income. Income means certain monetary amounts received by a taxpayer during a previous year. As per section 224, income includes number 1, profits or gains of business profession. Number 2, dividend income. 3, voluntary contribution received by a charitable or a religious trust or university or educational institution or hospital. Number 4, value of perquisite or profit in lieu of salary taxable under section 17, and special allowance or benefit specially granted either to meet personal expenses or for performance of duties of an office. Number 5, export incentives like duty drawback, cash compensatory support, sale of licenses, etc. Number 6, interest, salary, bonus, commission or remuneration earned by a partner of a firm from such partnership firm. Number 7, profits and gains from the business of banking carried by a cooperative society with its members. Number next, profits and gains from the business of insurance carried on by a mutual insurance company or by a cooperative society. Number 9, capital gains chargeable under section 45. Next, winning from lotteries, crossword puzzles, races including horse race, card games and other games of any sort, or from gambling or betting of any form or nature whatsoever. Number next, sums received by an assessee from his employees towards welfare fund contributions such as provident fund, pension fund, etc. Next, amount received under keyman insurance policy including bonus thereon. Number next, amount received under an agreement for a not carrying out activity in relation to any business, or B, not sharing any know-how, patents, copyrights, etc. Next, benefits or perquisites received from a company by a director or a person holding substantial interest or a relative of director or such person holding substantial interest in the company. Last point, gift as defined under section 56 subsection 2 6. Dear students, this definition of income under section 2 subsection 24 is an inclusive definition. Definition describes certain receipts as being income. This does not define the term income itself. Judicial pronouncements, however, have held that the term income is of widest connotation. Therefore, any other receipts that fall within the natural meaning of the term may also be included for the purpose of income tax. So, dear students, you can read all these points from 1 to 15 are covered under the definition of the term income as per section 2 subsection 24 of the Income Tax Act. Profits and gains of business or profession, it is known. Dividend received by a shareholder, voluntary contribution received, it is nothing but a donation received by a charitable or religious trust, university or educational institution. Value of perquisites or profit in lieu of salary. A salaried person receives some benefits from the company as per Income Tax Act, like housing accommodation, hotel accommodation, car and other perks, or profit in lieu of salary, that is leave salary, leave encashment, gratuity, etc. as under section 17, and some special allowances like dearness allowance, conveyance allowance, city compensatory allowances or other benefit to meet either personal expenses or for performance of duties. Then export incentives like duty drawback, cash compensatory support, interest, salary, bonus, commission. So all these points are self-explanatory and fall in the definition of income as per section 2 subsection 24 of the Income Tax Act. Our second term is SSC. SSC, ASSESSE as per section 2 subsection 7. The definition is an SSC is a person by whom any tax or any other sum of money is payable under the Income Tax Act. And the term SSC also includes number 1, every person in respect of whom any proceedings has been taken for the assessment of number 1, his income or the income of any other person. Number 2, loss sustained by him or other person. Number 3, refund due to him or such other person. B, every person who is deemed to be an SSC under any provision of the Income Tax Act. And C, every person who is deemed to be an SSC in default under any provision of the Income Tax Act. Let us understand. Here, an SSC is a person who is liable to pay tax on his own income, or if the said person has no income during the year, he may be called an SSC in respect of any loss that he has incurred, or in respect of any amount of refund due from the income tax authorities. Here it is mentioned that any tax or any other sum of money payable, any sum of money payable means any interest payable, any penalties, any late fees, etc. Next, in second point, the said person can be an assessee in respect of income or loss of another persons. So here it is about deemed assessee. And for example, an agent of a non-resident person, the guardian of a person suffering from incapacity to contract, that is minor, lunatic or an idiot, the person responsible for deduction of tax at source, that is TDS, or a trustee, all are deemed assessee. And here assessee in default, deemed assessee in default. Assessee in default means a person who fails to comply any or more of the income tax provisions. Say for example, fails to file an income tax return, fails to pay tax, become assessee in default. Our next term is assessment year, and assessment year is defined under section 2 subsection 9, and the definition is assessment year means the period of 12 months commencing on the first day of the April every year and ending on the 31st March of the following year. The present assessment year is 2021 relating to previous year 2019-20. Dear students, assessment year is a period of 12 months from 1st of April to the 31st March of the following year, during which the taxable income and tax liability of an assessee is determined or decided. That calculation of taxable income and tax liability we have discussed in our previous lectures. Our next term is previous year. The previous year term is defined in section 3, and the definition is previous year means the financial year immediately preceding the assessment year. The present previous year for our study purpose is 2019-20, and its assessment year is 2020-21. Dear students, previous year is also a period of 12 months in a normal case, and also it begins on first day of April and ends on 31st March of the following year. But one must keep note that previous year for newly established business will not be of 12 months. It may be for lesser period, from the date of setting up of business to the end of the financial year in which business was set up. Here is one example. Suppose X Limited started business on 1st November 2019. So for X Limited, our first previous year will be considered as 1st November 2019 to 31st March 2020. This will be only for the first previous year. Then next upcoming previous year will be from 1st April to 31st March in a normal course of business. So we can say previous year as a financial year period of 12 months, 1st of April to 31st of March, during which taxable income is generated. But my dear students, here one must understand, income is earned or generated during previous year, and taxable income and tax liability thereon will be decided in the assessment year in normal course. But my dear students, in some of the cases, previous year itself becomes an assessment year. It means taxable income will be assessed in the previous year itself for taxing purpose. Let us see the examples or incidences when the previous year itself becomes an assessment year, or previous year is equal to assessment year. Dear students, as a rule, income of the previous year is taxable as the income of the immediately following assessment year. But the rule is subject to certain exceptions. When income of a previous year may be taxed as the income of the assessment year immediately preceding the normal assessment year. In such cases, the income becomes taxable during the previous year itself, and it can be said that a financial year is a previous year as well as an assessment year. And here are some cases. Number 1, in respect of the shipping business of non-resident Indians as per section 172. Number 2, in respect of the income of persons leaving India either permanently or for a long period of time and not likely to return back to India, section 174. Next, in respect of the income of an AOP, that is Association of Person, or BOI, that is Body of Individual, or Artificial Juridical Person, that is artificial persons, which is likely to be dissolved on completion of a particular event or purpose, section 174A. And next, persons likely to transfer property to a third party with a view to avoiding tax, section 175. And last, in respect of the income of discontinued business, section 176. Dear students, tax liability of all these cases will be decided or assessed in the previous year itself. Okay, dear students, thank you very much for watching this video lecture. Very soon we will meet with new definitions in the same chapters